This is the outside of the Elddis Majestic 185. As I move along, I will firstly come to the flue for the boiler. We do not need to do anything with these particular flues. There's no covers or anything that need to be removed. Just make sure that nothing is obstructing it. Next we have both vents for the Dometic fridge. Again, like with the boiler, try to avoid obstruction and also spraying too much water at them when washing the motorhome. As this is a fully winterized motorhome, it is supplied with winter covers for the fridge vents. So if you are using the van in extreme cold, these can be put on to make the fridge run more efficiently. So you have this smaller one, which is for the top, and then the larger one for the bottom. When putting them on, start at the top, clip it in, and then with a flat-headed screwdriver or the ignition key, just turn both little clips and it will then hold in place, and then the fridge will just vent on the lower points just here, thus holding some heat in and making it run more efficiently. In the warm weather, make sure these are removed, or otherwise the fridge will just overheat and not work. Next we have fresh water tank fill. As you can see, the cap can be locked. Just pop a hose pipe in to fill up the fresh water tank. Directly beneath that is the external shower point. To use this, remove the dust cover. These can sometimes be quite difficult to get out because it does get a vacuum behind it. So always start by pulling this little clip at the bottom and then wiggling it out. Once you've done this, as long as there's fresh water in the tank and the water pump is on, as soon as this is then plugged in to the side of the van, it will then automatically go under pressure. To remove it, just pull on the blue trigger and it will then release. Grey water drain just beneath that, so anything that goes down the plug holes goes into the holding tank and then drains off here. And then beside that we have the fresh water tank drain, and again, to drain it down, just turn. Beside this is the flue for the space heater. Again, nothing needs to be done with this flue, just make sure that nothing is obstructing it. And then above all of that is the battery locker. So we have the leisure battery just here, and then we have the mains hookup point just here. At the rear we have the location of the cassette toilet. So on this model it's tucked right in. So lift up on the orange lever and then pull the cassette towards you. Before use, remove the cap, add your toilet chemical and a small amount of water. This also empties from here as well. Just remember that when you are pouring the cassette away, to also hold this button in just here to release the vacuum inside. It's also advisable to keep this seal lubricated. Thetford do their own seal lubricant, but any silicone based lubricant is fine. By turning this part here, gains access inside the cassette for additional cleaning. All of these cassettes now are on wheels with extendable handles. And when sliding it back in, just make sure that the handle locks back into this position here. As I move round to the rear, we have the rear view camera at the top, and then we have the Fiamma bike rack. To use this, make sure that the arms are out of the way, grab hold of the bar and just pull towards you and the rails will drop down. Pop the bikes on the rails and then secure these straps through the wheels. The straps do slide about depending on the size of the bike, and then these arms then attach round the frame. Spare wheel is located just here and winds down from this point here where my finger is. In the jack and wheel brace kit there's a bar, just pop it into there and then wind it down. And then we have the gas locker, so there is room in here for 2 gas bottles. The regulator just sits here and then the hose comes off the regulator and screws into the propane bottle and is tightened with a gas spanner. Bottle on and off on the top. Do make sure that the bottle is isolated for travel. Barbecue point. So to use this you will need a barbecue adapter. It's a little brass spear about this long. Attach the hose of the barbecue to one end and secure it with a Jubilee clip, and then the other end plugs in where my finger is here and will lock into place. It will then allow you to turn the gas on. To remove it, just push up on the collar and it will then release. Above my head we then have the Dometic roll-out awning. To roll it out, firstly take the awning winding handle and then just place it into this section just here and then begin to wind out the awning. As you can now see, I've wound the awning out a short distance. It's always best to do this and then drop the legs for support, as it's not putting then too much strain on the side of the motorhome or the awning itself. The legs on this particular model are sprung loaded, so slightly lift up here and then just slide in and then just drop the leg down to the ground. Get the awning at the height you require and then lift up this grey lever to lock the leg into place. Then do the same again with the other leg. And again. Drop it to the ground and then lock into place. Now that the canopy is supported, we can then continue to wind it out, walking the legs out. And now, as you can see, the awning is fully out. Never use the awning in high winds, as it does run the risk of being flipped up over the top of the motorhome. When it comes to putting the awning away again, roll it back in to the point where we dropped the legs, then pop the legs away and then continue to wind it back in. You will find that sometimes the winding handle does get stuck like this. Just push it up and twist it round and it will then release itself. Diesel fill just here, and the cap unlocks on the ignition key. AdBlue top up just underneath, and it will let you know when the AdBlue needs topping up on the dashboard. Tyre pressure's just here on the door pillar, and then underneath the passenger seat you will find the jack and wheel brace kit. Vehicle battery sits underneath the floor of the cab, and bonnet release is located just here. The motorhome is alarmed, and it is alarmed on the actual key fob itself. So if I now lock the van, you'll get a single chirp and a single flash of the indicators to let you know that it's locked and the alarm is armed. If I now unlock it, you get a double chirp and 2 flashes indicating that it is unlocked and disarmed. What we can also do is put the alarm into what is known as pet friendly mode, so the alarm is armed on the outside but disarmed on the inside. All we need to do is just press the lock button twice, so once and then again, and you get that high-pitched chirp indicating that it has now been put into pet friendly mode. If I now unlock it again and I just leave the passenger door on ajar, and I now try to lock it and arm the alarm, you will get a series of chirps and flashes indicating that something isn't quite right. So this will do this if any of the 2 front doors are left on ajar, or the habitation door is not shut correctly, and it will also do this if the bonnet is not fully down as well.